So, one of the really nice features that we have with the Evolve Delta, and actually with the Evolve 512, is the ability to use something called smart streaming. What smart streaming allows us to do is it allows us to continue the camera going at a high frame rate when we want to use different exposure times. Now, sometimes we might want to use a different exposure time because one of our illumination sources simply isn't strong enough. Or maybe we're using it with a bright field channel, which needs to be much smaller and we can't reduce it with ND filters. So our normal choice would be to use the same exposure time. And if we use the same exposure time, we're a bit limited there, as I say, because of the different light levels. To get the best out of the camera and to get the best full well, and make sure you have the best kind of dynamic range imaging, you probably can afford to do some different exposure times. Now, if you use 15 and 20 milliseconds in a normal loop, and you did that through just a normal multi-dimensional acquire, you probably, because of the way the camera runs, because it uploads scripts between the changes, 50 millisecond new script, 20 millisecond new script, that's very inefficient, and that will go very slowly. But if you use this triggered acquisition dialog, combined with the smart streaming function, we're actually getting the camera to take both of those exposure times added together, and we're going very quickly. So at the moment we're running the camera freely at around 67.5 frames a second. We're going as fast as we can, and what we can do just simply by saying enabling triggers here, we now operate in smart streaming. So now we're doing both channels, and we're actually getting out what down here says 28 frames a second, but remember that's 28 frames a second of both of those images, both of those channels together. So we're getting 28 images that are made up of two different components, the two different channels, which means actually effectively we're running at about 57 frames a second, which is pretty cool. So we're doing 57 frames a second, and we're allowed to use another 5 milliseconds of exposure time here between the two different channels. It's a really nice, really strong function, smart streaming, and it is Photometrics exclusive, the way that we're handling and controlling this. Okay, I hope that helps explain that. Thank you.